One day, in a small village, two babies were abandoned at the door of a church, so, the priest took in the two children. He noticed that the two children had completely different personalities. One child seemed to be very energetic, but the other child was very calm. He realized that this child's name was Yuno. Suddenly, he was kicked by the energetic child. So, he also learned that this child's name was Asta. 15 years later, Asta had grown into a teenager. He said, "One day, I will definitely become the Wizard King. So, sister, please marry me." But Lily rejected him, because she was a nun. However, Asta did not give up. He continuously proposed to Lily. Then, Lily used water magic to hit him. But, Asta was still very stubborn. Suddenly, Asta was stopped by Yuno, which made him angry. Yuno then criticized Asta, calling him a short guy, who had no qualities to attract women. Meanwhile, Yuno had become a very handsome young man, which annoyed Asta. So, he wanted to challenge Yuno, but the other children said Asta would never be able to beat Yuno, because he couldn't use magic. While everyone else in this world can use magic, Asta is the only one without magic, which makes him angry, so, he decides to prove his strength by doing sit-ups. Meanwhile, Yuno is using wind to dry Lily's clothes, which shocks Asta. This makes Father Orsi very happy, because Yuno might be able to become a magic knight, and he is the hope of everyone in the village. But, Asta still doesn't give up. He is determined to also become a magic knight, and after that, he will become the Wizard King. However, no one believes in Asta, which makes Asta upset and run away. At this moment, Lily is worried about Asta. She doesn't know where Asta has gone. It turns out Asta went into the forest to train his physical strength, because he is determined to become the Wizard King. At this time, all the 15-year-olds in the Clover Kingdom are gathering to participate in the grimoire acceptance ceremony, which excites Asta, because he believes that, after he receives a grimoire, he will surely catch up with Yuno. At this moment, as the ceremony begins, all the grimoires fly up and find their owners, making everyone happy, because they can now take the Magic Knight entrance exam. But, Asta is the only one who doesn't receive a grimoire. This shocks Asta. So, everyone sees him as a failure. Unexpectedly, Yuno's grimoire has a 4-leaf clover, which surprises everyone, because his grimoire is like the first Wizard King's, and it contains great power. Suddenly, Yuno declares, "I will become the Wizard King," making everyone very happy. But, Asta still doesn't give up and says, "I will catch up to you, because I am your rival." However, Yuno coldly walks away from Asta. At this moment, Asta is very disappointed, because he thinks he can't use magic. However, Asta still doesn't give up. He is determined to become the Wizard King, and he is certain he will catch up with Yuno. Meanwhile, the nobles are very jealous of Yuno, because a commoner like him can possess a 4-leaf clover grimoire. So, he attacked Yuno. Unexpectedly, Yuno easily blocks the attack. Suddenly, they are ambushed by another person. Yuno doesn't know who he is. Suddenly, the attacker captures Yuno and steals his grimoire. It turns out he is a grimoire collector. Even though only Yuno can use it, suddenly, Asta appears. But, he falls. At this moment, Asta demands that he return Yuno's grimoire. However, he realizes that Asta is just a failure. So, he attacks Asta. Unexpectedly, Asta dodges and runs behind him. However, he catches Asta, and throws Asta against the wall. At this moment, Asta realizes, he isn't strong enough to defeat him. So, he mocks Asta for being a failure, saying that in a world where everyone can use magic, Asta will never become the Wizard King. Suddenly, Yuno scolds him and says, "Asta is not a failure, because he is my rival," which surprises Asta. So, he decides not to give up. Suddenly, Asta begins to summon his grimoire, which surprises everyone. A black sword appears from within the grimoire, scaring him, because he has never seen a 5-leaf clover grimoire before. It turns out that a 3-leaf clover represents hope and love, a 4-leaf clover represents luck, but a 5-leaf clover represents a demon. At this moment, Yuno knows that Asta will surely succeed, because since he was a child, Asta has wanted to become the Wizard King, to bring happiness to everyone. Yuno then remembers 10 years ago. It turns out that Yuno was very weak as a child, so Asta said he would always protect Yuno. But, Asta always wanted to marry Lily, even though he was constantly rejected by Lily, because she was a nun. But, Asta still didn't give up. At that moment, Lily told both of them the story of the first Wizard King, and how he defeated the Demon King to protect everyone, which greatly excited Asta and Yuno. Asta realized that the Wizard King was a great person, so he decided that he would become the Wizard King, because then he could bring happiness to everyone. But when he proposed to Lily again, Lily still said no. At this moment, Asta was trying to use magic, but he still couldn't use it. Suddenly, Father Orsi came to ask them to deliver a letter. Asta immediately volunteered. But Father Orsi gave the letter to Yuno, because he didn't trust Asta with the task. So, Yuno went to deliver the letter for Father Orsi. When Yuno entered the town, a thug noticed Yuno's pendant, and decided to steal it. Meanwhile, Asta was worried about Yuno, because he had been gone too long. At this moment, Yuno had his pendant stolen by the thug. But Yuno was determined to get it back, because it was an important pendant to him. However, the thug mocked Yuno for being too weak. Suddenly, Asta ran up, even though he was constantly getting beaten by the thug. But Asta was determined to get the pendant back for Yuno. While Yuno could only stand and watch, the thug saw Asta's determination, so he gave up and returned the pendant to them. Yuno immediately ran up to apologize to Asta. So, Asta said, "I will become the Wizard King and protect you." And he wanted to prove to everyone that even a commoner like him could become the Wizard King. So, Yuno stopped crying, and he also decided that he would become the Wizard King. At this moment, the thug was still very scared and asked, "Who are you?" So, he immediately attacked Asta, but Asta grabbed the sword and blocked his attack. He realized that Asta could use anti-magic. Suddenly, Asta charged at him with incredible speed, and he slashed at him with a powerful strike. It turns out that because Asta had always been training his physical strength, he now had such power. Yuno saw Asta defeat him, which made Yuno very happy. While Asta was excited about his grimoire, suddenly Yuno asked, "Do you remember our promise?" It turns out they had promised to become rivals, so they decided to compete to see who would become the Wizard King. The next day, Asta was still trying to train. After finishing his training, he drank his special juice, but it tasted terrible. At this moment, Asta was very excited, because he now had a grimoire, so he continued to train hard, because in 6 months, the Clover Kingdom would hold the Magic Knight's entrance exam. Meanwhile, Yuno was also training hard, because he was determined to become the Wizard King. At this moment, Father Orsi had high hopes for Yuno. He believed that Yuno would become a Magic Knight, but he had no expectations for Asta, because he was worried that Asta would fail. At this moment, Asta and Yuno were racing each other back to the church. But Yuno won. The next morning, Asta continued his training. Suddenly, Nash came to find Asta. He didn't understand why Asta couldn't use magic, but still wanted to take the Magic Knight's entrance exam. Nash thought that they were just poor orphans, so they shouldn't be allowed to have unrealistic dreams. Suddenly, Asta scolded him, saying that even though they were orphans, if they just tried hard, they could do anything and make their dreams come true. So, Asta said that he was determined to join the Magic Knights, and that he would become the Wizard King, which surprised Nash. In the evening, Father Orsi prepared a delicious potato feast, because the next day, Yuno and Asta would go to the royal capital to take the Magic Knight's entrance exam. It turned out that he prepared this meal for Yuno, because he still thought Asta would fail, but he said that this place would always be their home. However, Asta was still confident that he would succeed. Suddenly, he proposed to Lily again, so Lily hit him. The next morning, Asta and Yuno were ready to go to the royal capital, making everyone very happy. Suddenly, Nash said that if Asta could become a Magic Knight, then he would also become a Magic Knight someday. So, the two of them said goodbye to everyone. At this moment, Lily realized that Asta and Yuno had both grown up, and she remembered the first time she met them. Asta saw that Lily was very beautiful, so he proposed to her, which shocked Lily, and she rejected him. Lily had healed Asta after he got the pendant back for Yuno, so she hoped they would succeed. Meanwhile, Asta was very excited. He thought that if he became a Magic Knight, then Lily would accept his proposal. So Asta raced with Yuno to see who would get to the royal capital first, making them very tired, because their journey was still very far. After traveling a long and difficult journey together, they finally arrived at the royal capital. Asta saw that the town was bustling, which made him very excited, but everything in this place was very expensive, very different from their village. At this point, they had reached the examination site, so Yuno and Asta went to the registration area. Suddenly, everyone noticed Yuno's 4-leaf clover grimoire, which surprised them. But Asta's grimoire didn't get any attention, because they had never seen it before. At this moment, all the candidates were still waiting. Suddenly, they were surrounded by a flock of anti-birds. It turns out that the weaker someone's magic power, the more these birds like to gather around them. Unexpectedly, not a single bird came near Yuno, which surprised everyone, because Yuno stood out so much, but Asta was being swarmed by a whole flock of birds. So, everyone looked down on him, because they thought Asta was a failure. Suddenly, Asta bumped into a man, which made him very angry, while Asta was scared, because he could sense that this man was very intimidating. At this moment, everyone realized, he was Yami, the captain of the Black Bull, while Asta was still being held by Yami's headlock, which scared him. As Asta tried to escape, Yami released him, because the exam was about to start, so, Yami walked away. Suddenly, a young man came to tease Asta, introducing himself as Sek. At this point, all the Magic Knights captains appeared, which surprised everyone. The first was Silva, the captain of the Silver Eagles. The second was Vermilion, the captain of the Crimson Lions. The third was Jack, the captain of the Green Mantis. The fourth was Rosalie, the captain of the Blue Roses. Sek thought she was very beautiful, but Asta thought she wasn't as beautiful as Lily. The fifth was Poizo, the captain of the Purple Orcas. The sixth was Dorothy, the captain of the Coral Peacocks. But she was always asleep. Asta didn't understand how she could be a captain while sleeping all the time. The seventh was Rill, the captain of the Aqua Deer. It turned out he was the youngest captain, as Rill was only 19 years old. Suddenly, everyone cheered, because the strongest captain in the Magic Knights had appeared. It turned out his name was William, the captain of the Golden Dawn, and he was considered a candidate for the Wizard King position. The last was Yami, the captain of the Black Bulls. At this moment, William announced that he would oversee the exam. William then released his magic, which amazed everyone. A giant tree appeared, and it gave each contestant a broom. It turned out that the first test was flying on a broom, to assess their magic control skills. At this point, everyone could fly, while the captains recognized Yuno as a genius. Asta, on the other hand, was the complete opposite, as he couldn't get his broom to lift off. So, Sek started to tease him. Sek easily passed all the following tests, but Asta couldn't pass any of them. At this moment, William announced that the final test was a fight. It turned out this was the most important test. While Asta didn't know who to fight, suddenly, Sek challenged him, which excited Asta. At this moment, Sek was very confident, because he thought he could easily defeat Asta. He even insulted Asta, calling him just a commoner, which made Asta uncomfortable. While everyone thought Asta would lose, as the match began, Sek released his magic, so Asta released his grimoire as well. Unexpectedly, Asta moved very quickly, and with a single strike, Asta immediately defeated Sek, surprising everyone. While Yuno was very pleased, because he knew Asta would win. At this moment, Yami took notice of Asta. He realized Asta didn't use magic, so he found Asta very interesting. Suddenly, a young man came to challenge Yuno. Thus, Yuno agreed. Everyone recognized him as Selim, a noble, but he constantly mocked Yuno, saying he was just a commoner, and that Yuno had no chance of winning against a noble like him. As soon as the match began, Selim released his lightning magic, which amazed everyone, but Yuno released his wind magic to block his attack. Unexpectedly, Yuno's magic completely overwhelmed Selim, and Yuno quickly won, shocking everyone, because Yuno was so strong. By the afternoon, the Magic Knights entrance exam had ended, so the captains would choose the contestants they liked. Those who weren't selected would be eliminated, making Asta anxious, as many had already been eliminated. At this point, it was Yuno's turn. Unexpectedly, all the captains chose him, surprising everyone. So, Yuno chose the Golden Dawn, because he thought it was the most promising path to becoming Wizard King. Next, it was Asta's turn, which made him anxious, not knowing if anyone would choose him. Unexpectedly, no captain chose him, leaving Asta disappointed. But Asta didn't want to give up. Suddenly, Yami stood up and said, "Magic Knights need people who can use magic, so no one will need you." Suddenly, Yami released his magical power, scaring everyone. While Asta felt very pressured, he realized Yami was very strong. Yami asked, "Do you still want to become Wizard King now?" Despite standing under Yami's intimidating presence, Asta declared, "I will become Wizard King," which pleased Yami greatly, so he told Asta to join his Black Bulls, surprising everyone. While Asta remembered his hard training days, he agreed. After the selection ended, Asta and Yuno were very happy, because they had both become Magic Knights. Suddenly, Asta had a stomachache and ran to the toilet, because he had eaten roasted snake that morning. Unexpectedly, Sek was watching Asta, planning to take revenge on him, as he was using magic to harm Asta. Suddenly, Yuno appeared and stopped him, which scared Sek, so he ran away. Then, Asta finished using the toilet. He was scolded by Yami for making him wait. Suddenly, they opened a spatial gate, and Yami threw Asta inside, surprising Asta. As it was the headquarters of the Black Bulls, Asta was very excited, but as soon as he opened the door to greet them, he was immediately burned. At this moment, Yami told Asta that the Black Bulls were the worst squad in the Magic Knights. On Yuno's side, he arrived at the Golden Dawn headquarters and met Klaus. Klaus didn't understand why Yuno, not being a noble, could be chosen by the captain, so Klaus said he wouldn't accept Yuno. Meanwhile, Asta was very surprised, because the Black Bulls headquarters was very chaotic, and no one even cared about him. Yami saw everyone continuously causing trouble, which made him very angry, and he shouted. Unexpectedly, they immediately surrounded Yami, happily because their captain had returned. At this moment, Yami started introducing Asta as their new member. This made everyone very excited. Vanessa then came over to talk to Asta, which made him feel embarrassed. But Asta's heart already belonged to Lily. Next was Luck, who challenged Asta to a fight. Suddenly, Ghost showed Asta a picture of his sister, and said he would kill Asta if he got close to her. Next was Charmy, who loved eating. Then there was Gray, a quiet person, and Magna, who was very hot-tempered. This made Asta scared. Finally, there was Finneral. This made Asta very excited, as he got to know everyone. At this point, Yami told them to train Asta. So, Magna took on the responsibility of training Asta. Because he still didn't acknowledge Asta, Magna asked, "Do you want to earn the Black Bull's cloak?" Which made Asta thrilled. Magna then started testing Asta. He told Asta to use his magic to block his attacks. If Asta could pass this challenge, Magna would acknowledge him as a member of the Black Bull. So, Asta summoned his sword, which surprised everyone, because his sword was very large. At this point, Magna created fireballs and launched them at Asta, but he managed to dodge all of them. So, Magna used a different technique. He threw a fireball at Asta at high speed. Suddenly, Asta relied on his instincts. He put all his strength into blocking Magna's attack, causing Magna's fireball to bounce back. This amazed everyone. They realized Asta's sword could counter magic. At this point, Magna was very angry, because he almost got killed by his own magic. This scared Asta. Unexpectedly, Magna felt very pleased, because Asta could counter his magic. Suddenly, everyone gathered around Asta, as they all acknowledged him. So, Magna decided to give Asta the Black Bull's cloak, which made Asta very happy. Vanessa helped Asta change into his new outfit, and he officially became a member of the Black Bull, making Asta very joyful. But inside the Black Bull's headquarters, there was still another new member. At this moment, Magna took Asta to his room. Although the room was very messy, Asta was thrilled, so he immediately began cleaning up. Then, Asta finished tidying up. He started writing a letter to inform his family. On Yuno's side, he was assigned to a very luxurious room. Although Klaus didn't like Yuno, William had appointed him as Yuno's guide. The next morning, Lily received their letter, making Father Orsi very happy, because Yuno had become a magic knight. But he didn't read Asta's letter, as he thought Asta had failed, so he would soon return there. Suddenly, Lily discovered that Asta had also become a magic knight, which surprised everyone. So, Father Orsi immediately went to inform everyone in the village. At this moment, Asta had just woken up and put on his uniform, but when he ran to the door, he ran into a wall, which surprised Asta. Magna then told Asta that their headquarters would change its layout every day. Then, he showed Asta around the headquarters. Surprisingly, their dining hall was very spacious. Next was the bathroom, but the water here was very hot. Then, Magna took Asta to the place where Yami's pets were kept. It turned out Asta's task would be to take care of them. Surprisingly, they were very fierce. After that, Magna continued showing Asta around. Suddenly, they met a girl. Magna told Asta, "She is also a new member like you." So, Asta greeted her. However, she was very cold to Asta, because he was just a commoner, and she called him a pest. It turned out she was Noelle, a member of the royal family, which shocked Asta. But Asta immediately opposed her, because now they were colleagues, so they should be equal to each other. However, Noelle still looked down on Asta, and she immediately used her magic to attack him. Surprisingly, the one who was attacked was Magna, which astonished Asta. While Magna was very angry, he scolded Noelle. It turned out she joined Black Bull, because she was the sister of the Silver Eagle captain. This made Noelle uncomfortable. So, she took off her cloak and left. She thought Black Bull was the worst place, and it wasn't worthy of someone of royal blood like her, so, Noelle left. The next morning, Asta got lost. Suddenly, he was hit by a water ball. Asta discovered Noelle was practicing here, but she couldn't hit the target no matter how hard she tried. It turned out Noelle couldn't control her magic, so she was always looked down upon, and people thought Noelle was a disgrace to the royal family. However, Noelle continued to practice. Suddenly, she noticed Asta watching her, making Noelle nervous, as she feared Asta would mock her. Unexpectedly, Noelle lost control of her magic, and she unleashed a gigantic water ball, astonishing everyone, because Noelle's magic was very strong. But, she was in danger, while Yami didn't know what to do. Suddenly, Asta was blown over to him. So, Yami told Asta to handle the situation, and he immediately threw Asta at Noelle. Asta summoned his sword, and with just one strike, he shattered Noelle's magic. Suddenly, both of them fell down. Fortunately, Finneral managed to rescue Asta and Noelle. At this moment, Noelle thought she would be humiliated by everyone. Unexpectedly, Asta praised Noelle's magic as very strong, surprising her. Everyone realized Noelle couldn't control her magic, so they decided to help her, and they accepted her as a member of Black Bull, making Noelle very touched. The next morning, Asta began cleaning the entire headquarters. Then, he did the laundry, and Asta saw Vanessa's underwear, causing him to have a nosebleed. Next, Asta fed Yami's pets. Unexpectedly, they bit him. At this moment, everyone was having lunch together. Asta asked Noelle to help him clean up, but since she was royalty, she would never do such tasks. Suddenly, Asta asked Magna what the job of a magic knight was, which made Magna angry, because he was a magic knight and didn't know his own job. So, Vanessa explained to him that their job was to protect the people, and sometimes they would act as bodyguards for others. While Luck only liked fighting, Ghosh only wanted to protect his sister. Finneral wanted to save girls. Suddenly, Charmy discovered that the food was finished, so she summoned her cooking magic, and she fed meat to Asta. Suddenly, Yami arrived. He told Magna to go on a mission with him, so Asta asked to go along, but Magna refused him, saying that this mission wasn't for children, which made Asta curious. He didn't know what their mission was. It turned out that Yami and Magna went to a casino to play cards, and they had lost all their clothes. Suddenly, Yami wanted to make one last bet. They would have to follow an old man's request, so they started playing cards. At this moment, Asta was feeding the pets, but he was still being bitten by them. Suddenly, Asta saw that Yami and Magna had returned, and they were not wearing any clothes. It turned out that the old man had won against them. At this point, Yami decided to assign Asta and Noelle their first mission. When both of them found out that their mission was to hunt wild boars, Noelle was disappointed. It turned out that the old man's request was to exterminate the wild boars to help his village. When Asta and Noelle realized Yami had lost the gamble, both of them protested against the mission. But Yami told them to go or face death, so they had no choice but to follow his orders. At this point, Magna decided to accompany them to help. Suddenly, he discovered that Asta and Noelle couldn't use flying brooms, so he showed them his special flying broom, which made Asta very excited. Thus, Magna began to control the flying broom to take Asta and Noelle to the mission. At this moment, a mysterious group arrived at Sashi village. Suddenly, they were attacked by wild boars, but the wild boars were immediately frozen. It turned out that they had come here to find magic stones. Meanwhile, Asta's group had also arrived at the village, but Asta was being chased by a wild boar. He realized that the wild boars here were very large. At this moment, Magna had run out of magic power, because his broom had to carry 2 people, which caused it to be overloaded. While Noelle was about to help Asta, she accidentally shot at Asta, causing him to be attacked by the wild boar. But quickly, Asta defeated the wild boar. However, Magna said there was still a herd of wild boars. In the end, they managed to defeat the wild boars. At this moment, Magna told Asta and Noelle that the old man who gambled was named Saihai. Previously, he often came to this village to challenge Saihai, but Magna continuously lost to him, and it was Saihai who suggested Magna to participate in the Magic Knight's entrance exam. It turned out that Saihai gambled to earn money to help the villagers. Suddenly, Magna noticed that the village was very strange. It turned out that the village was surrounded by a magical mist, and they realized that the villagers were in danger. So, Magna told Asta to use his sword to cut through the mist, causing the mist outside to dissipate. At this moment, they entered the village. Suddenly, The three of them saw the villagers gathered and very frightened. It turned out that they were being targeted by sharp ice spikes. So, Magna immediately broke the ice spikes. The villagers, seeing that the magic knights had arrived, felt relieved. But, Magna discovered that Saihai had died. It turned out that he had sacrificed himself to protect the village, which made Magna very angry. He realized that it was the fault of these intruders, but they immediately created a large block of ice to attack them. So, Asta split the block of ice in half. At this moment, they realized that Asta's sword could counter magic. Asta asked them who they were. And they told him that this kingdom was divided into 3 regions. The inner region was for nobles and commoners to live. This village is located in the abandoned land, a place for lowly and useless people. So, they came here to destroy the village. This made Asta very angry, because he used to be a lowly commoner himself. Asta wanted to become the Wizard King. To put an end to this discrimination, therefore, Asta was determined to protect the villagers. Suddenly, Heath continued to create many ice spikes to surround them. When he attacked, Asta blocked his attacks. Magna also immediately used his magic, but he was running out of magic power. Magna realized that they were as strong as the magic knights. Noelle also attacked Heath, but she couldn't hit him, making Noelle feel very useless, because she was hindering Asta and Magna. However, a little girl begged Noelle to help her, so, Noelle was determined to protect everyone. Suddenly, Noelle unlocked a new magic. She created a dome of water to protect everyone. At this moment, Heath's attacks were all blocked. Magna felt relieved. Asta then moved in to attack Heath, and he managed to hit him, but Heath immediately counterattacked. Everyone saw that Asta was injured, making them worried. Heath realized that Noelle's magic power wasn't enough to last long, so he froze Noelle's dome of water. Magna was very anxious, because he had no way to defeat Heath. Suddenly, Asta stood up, but he was knocked away by Heath. Even though he was exhausted, Asta still refused to give up. He continued to attack Heath. Seeing Asta's determination, Magna remembered how happy the villagers were when he became a magic knight, and Saihai had also given Magna a bag to hold his grimoire. At this moment, Magna regained his spirit, and he was also determined not to give up. Meanwhile, Heath couldn't understand why Asta was so persistent. So, Asta said, "I want to become the Wizard King, because I want to protect everyone." Suddenly, Magna stepped outside, surprising everyone. Magna told Asta to cooperate with him. Magna then immediately used his magic to create a fireball. He threw it towards Heath, but Heath blocked it. As Heath was about to finish off Magna, Asta suddenly appeared behind him. He threw fireballs at Heath. Meanwhile, Noelle managed to protect Magna in time. At this moment, Heath was about to freeze Magna's fire, but Asta immediately struck him with a powerful blow. Heath was defeated by Asta, causing everyone to be very happy, because they had won. Magna then used fire to bind them. Suddenly, Asta fainted, causing everyone to worry, but it turned out he was just asleep. At this point, Noelle also began to change her perception of Asta. Suddenly, an anti-bird appeared from Asta's cloak. It flew into a house and found the magic stone. Afterward, Magna started questioning Heath, but he refused to say anything. Suddenly, he froze his own body, indicating they had committed suicide. This made Asta angry, because they didn't value their own lives. At this moment, Seiya's nephew was very sad about his uncle's death. It turned out Saihai had stood alone against Heath, to protect everyone. Magna realized Saihai was a truly great man. Suddenly, the boy asked, "Can I become a magic knight?" Magna replied, "Of course, because nothing is impossible." So, Asta encouraged the boy as well, making him very happy. Suddenly, the anti-bird pecked Asta on the head. They saw it was holding a stone, so Asta grabbed the stone, but he was continuously pecked by the anti-bird. At this moment, a mysterious organization was collecting magic stones to resurrect their master. Afterward, Asta's group returned to the Black Bull headquarters. Yami was pleased that they had completed their mission. Suddenly, Finneral and Vanessa returned. It turned out Yami had sent them to investigate the mysterious organization, but they had no leads yet. Vanessa thought the mastermind must be someone of very high status in the kingdom. Suddenly, Asta saw a bird, so he and Noelle caught it, angering Yami because they had damaged the headquarters. However, Yami himself had caused the most damage. Suddenly, Yami announced he had good news for them. It turned out the Wizard King knew about Asta's team's mission. The Wizard King awarded them a 1-star medal, making everyone very happy. Meanwhile, Asta didn't understand the significance of the medal. It turned out the medal was used to compare the achievements of Magic Knight squads. Golden Dawn had the most medals with 70 stars. Asta asked Yami how many stars they had. They were currently at -30 stars. To his shock, this meant Asta was still far behind Yuno. Suddenly, Yami handed out their salary for the month. Asta was very pleased, as it was the most money he had ever received. But Noel felt it was too little. Asta decided to send money back to the church. So that night, he wrote a letter to Lily and everyone. He thought Lily would be very touched when she read his letter. The next morning, Vanessa took Asta and Noel shopping in town. Suddenly, Asta hugged Noel's waist, causing Noel to feel embarrassed and push him away. They entered the town, which made Asta very excited. Suddenly, they saw Ghosh buying many things for his sister, Charmy eating a lot in a small restaurant, and Finneral flirting with girls everywhere. Vanessa then led Asta and Noel to an alley. There was a hidden door there. Vanessa revealed that this was a black market, which surprised Asta. However, Noel didn't like the place. Vanessa mentioned that they sold items to help control magic power, which made Noel interested. Vanessa chose a necklace for Noel. When she tested her magic with it, she accidentally hit Sek, but he found them very beautiful, so Sek started flirting with them. However, they ignored him. Suddenly, Sek encountered Asta, which shocked him. Sek became envious of Asta, because Asta was in a team with two beautiful girls, while he was joining Green Mantis, but he was just a lackey. Suddenly, a thief stole from an old woman, so Asta chased after the thief. While Sek also wanted to prove himself, he summoned his broomstick and chased the thief as well. While Asta was running after the thief on foot, surprisingly, he ran very fast, which amazed the thief. Asta threw his sword at the thief, causing the thief to fall to the ground. Suddenly, Sek also caught up, so he bumped into the thief. Sek was pleased with his achievement. Unexpectedly, the thief stabbed Sek in the leg, making Sek scared. As he had been poisoned, Sek thought he was going to die, so he made a final request to Asta. Suddenly, Sek realized he wasn't dead. Vanessa had arrived in time to antidote him. She said it was just a temporary paralytic poison, which made Sek feel embarrassed. So, Sek took the thief away. Meanwhile, Asta returned the items to the old woman, which made her very happy. As Asta's group was leaving, suddenly, the old lady transformed into a man. He found Asta very interesting. It turned out he was Julius, the Wizard King. His assistant scolded him for his habits, as Julius enjoyed seeking out new magic. Julius then noticed Yuno, which piqued his interest in Yuno's magic. At the time, Yuno was with Klaus and Mimosa. They had taken on a mission to act as bodyguards for Selim. Selim apologized to Yuno for insulting him during the exam, and he was curious about Yuno's homeland. So, Yuno shared about his homeland. Suddenly, a large dark cloud appeared above them, causing Yuno to investigate, but he was immediately attacked. The attackers surrounded and knocked Yuno down. However, Yuno managed to counterattack in time. Very quickly, he defeated them. At this moment, Klaus felt very strange, because their target was not Selim, so they landed in the forest. Suddenly, Selim suggested that Yuno take him to his village, but Klaus immediately opposed it, because that place was a forsaken land. Nevertheless, Selim was insistent on going, so Yuno led them to his homeland. This amazed Selim, because there was indeed the Demon King's skull here. At this moment, Yuno returned to the church. Lily was very happy, while Klaus was uncomfortable, because he did not like the forsaken land. But Lily joyfully welcomed them. Father Orsi and the children noticed that Yuno had returned, which made them very happy. That evening, Father Orsi and Lily cooked potato dishes for them, which made Selim think the food was very delicious. It turned out that thanks to Yuno and Asta sending money every month, they had enough money to buy plenty of potatoes for the children. Suddenly, Yuno asked how much money Asta had sent. So, Lily told him, which surprised Yuno. Therefore, next month Yuno decided to send his entire salary back to the church, because he did not want to lose to Asta. When Lily went outside to get water for them, suddenly, she was kidnapped. At this moment, Klaus realized that the attackers from earlier were still following them. So, Yuno decided to go rescue Lily. But, Klaus said that his mission was to protect Selim, thus, they had to continue escorting Selim to Heart Kingdom. However, Yuno still decided to go rescue Lily, so he immediately left. Suddenly, Yuno was blocked by someone. He used magic to attack Yuno, but Yuno counterattacked and defeated him. Yuno realized there were still 4 more attackers. Suddenly, Yuno was caught in their trap. The attacker was very pleased because he had captured Yuno, but Yuno managed to escape. He then attacked and defeated the attacker. When Yuno entered the forest, he encountered another attacker. He continuously attacked Yuno, but his attacks were ineffective against Yuno, so he was also defeated. At this point, Yuno found Lily, but the attacker used her to threaten Yuno. He demanded that Yuno hand over his grimoire, but Yuno refused, which surprised the attacker. Suddenly, Klaus appeared from behind and attacked him. Thanks to this, they were able to rescue Lily, but Yuno realized there was still one more attacker. It turned out that Klaus had been following him secretly, because he realized that the person behind this was Selim, so they captured Selim. It turned out that he hated Yuno very much because Yuno had defeated him in the exam. Therefore, he was determined to take revenge on Yuno. At this point, Klaus also recognized Yuno, because he was chosen by their captain, when Yuno intended to let them go, because they had not harmed anyone yet. But Selim still stubbornly resisted. Suddenly, he was defeated by Lily, which frightened them. Klaus realized that one of them had escaped. It turned out that the escapee was Julius. He had been observing Yuno. Julius found Yuno very interesting, but he continued to be scolded by his assistant. At this moment, Father Orsi and Lily invited Yuno's group to eat, to thank them for their help. Klaus thought the potatoes were very delicious. Then, Yuno's group returned. William announced that the Wizard King had awarded them a star medal, which surprised them. William was also very pleased with Yuno's group. At this moment, Julius noticed that a strange dungeon had appeared in the kingdom, so he decided to assign them to deal with it. Meanwhile, Asta was practicing push-ups, while everyone was naming Asta's bird, so they decided to name it Nero. Suddenly, Yami returned. He announced that a strange dungeon had just appeared, which excited everyone, because they thought the dungeon would contain many treasures. But Yami said that this dungeon appeared between the Clover Kingdom and Diamond Kingdom, so they needed to complete the mission quickly. And Yami said that the Wizard King had nominated Asta for this mission, which surprised him. But Asta was very happy, because the Wizard King was paying attention to him. The next people Yami chose were Noel and Luck, and he assigned Luck to be the team leader. After that, Finneral opened a spatial gate to take them to the mission location. At this point, Noel wondered why Finneral didn't take them directly to the dungeon. Luck explained that Finneral could only take them to places he had been to. Soon, they saw the dungeon, which excited Luck, while Noel was frightened, because the inside of the dungeon was very dark. Suddenly, Luck discovered a secret door, which surprised them, because the inside of the dungeon was very vast. At this point, Luck and Noel sensed, inside this dungeon, there is a very rich source of magic power. But Asta couldn't sense anything, because he has no magic power, which made Asta disappointed. Suddenly, Asta triggered a trap, but he immediately broke it. Unexpectedly, Luck was very intrigued, so he continuously triggered the traps here, and let Asta break them. At this point, Luck began using locator magic. Suddenly, he sensed other people besides them, which excited Luck. He used lightning magic and transformed into a pair of shoes, so he immediately ran off, which shocked Asta and Noel, while Luck was very excited, because he thought he would encounter a strong opponent. At this moment, Asta and Noel continued exploring the dungeon, so Asta told Noel about Yuno. Suddenly, she realized they were alone together, which made Noel feel embarrassed. Suddenly, she fell into a trap. A monster appeared, intending to eat Noel. So, Asta immediately saved her. Unexpectedly, both of them were captured by the monster. Suddenly, someone attacked the monster and saved them, which surprised both of them. It turned out to be Yuno's group, which made Asta very happy to see Yuno again. At this moment, Klaus criticized Yuno, because he thought Yuno wasted their time by saving Asta. So, Asta called Klaus rude, which made Klaus very angry, while Mimosa was very happy, because she met Noel. It turned out that Mimosa was Noel's cousin. However, Noel felt very uncomfortable, because she did not like Mimosa. Meanwhile, Klaus continued to look down on Asta. He did not believe that the Wizard King had nominated him, which made Asta very angry. So, he and Klaus argued continuously. They decided to compete to see who would find the treasure first. Thus, Mimosa used her magic. Unexpectedly, she was able to create a map of the dungeon. Then, Yuno used wind magic to fly them, which surprised Noel, while Asta was very excited, because he did not want to lose to Yuno. So, Asta and Noel ran off to find the treasure, but Noel was worried, because they did not know the way. Suddenly, Nero pointed the way for them, while Klaus thought Asta's group would not be able to find the treasure, because they did not have a map. Suddenly, Yuno warned Klaus he should not underestimate Asta. On Julius's side, he received a notification. The Magic Knights from the Diamond Kingdom had also joined in the treasure hunt. This made him very pleased, because he has faith in Asta and Yuno. At this moment, Luck had defeated the Magic Knights of the Diamond Kingdom, and he met their captain. It turned out his name was Lotus. He saw Luck's magic, which made him very pleased. Suddenly, Luck immediately attacked him. But Lotus was able to block his attack. This made Luck very pleased, because Lotus was very strong. On Asta and Noel's side, they had arrived in a zero-gravity room. Suddenly, Asta saw a treasure chest running, so he chased after it and caught it. Thanks to that, the zero-gravity environment was nullified, but when Asta opened the chest, he saw that it contained the internal organs of something. While Luck was continuously attacking Lotus, suddenly, Luck felt that his body was very strange. He realized that he had been hit by his opponent's attack. It turns out that his magic can weaken his opponents. Meanwhile, Luck didn't understand when he had been hit. It turns out that he had set his traps on his own subordinates. So, Luck had fallen into his trap. At this time, Yuno's group had found the room containing the treasure. Suddenly, Mimosa was attacked, which surprised them. They did not know who he was. But, he told Yuno's group to get out of his way. Meanwhile, Lotus thought he had defeated Luck. Unexpectedly, Luck was determined to win, so, he unleashed his lightning magic, and attacked him with very high speed. At this moment, Luck remembered his past. It turned out that Luck had always been smiling and only enjoyed fighting. So, Luck was considered an oddball by everyone. When Luck's mother learned that he had defeated a noble, she was very happy, and she told Luck to always win. So, Luck became obsessed with this idea. He always forced himself to win, and he continuously attacked Lotus. But, Lotus used magic to counter Luck, preventing him from moving. Meanwhile, Mimosa was injured, so she used healing magic on herself. At this point, Klaus realized that he was a magic knight from the Diamond Kingdom. Suddenly, he continued attacking Mimosa. So, Klaus intervened. He and Yuno collaborated to attack him, but he blocked their attacks. Klaus realized that his target was the treasure, so Klaus told Yuno to go into the treasure room first. Suddenly, he attacked Klaus. On Lotus's side, he was about to deal with Luck. Fortunately, Asta arrived in time, which surprised him. Meanwhile, Yuno also stayed to help Klaus, which surprised him, because they never abandoned their teammates. When Asta was about to fight Lotus, Luck called him his prey. So, Luck ran to attack Lotus, but he was losing control. When Luck was in danger, Asta saved him. At this point, Asta did not care what Luck wanted to do, but they were teammates, so he would fight alongside Luck. Suddenly, Luck realized that he had friends. Thanks to this, Luck regained his composure. So, the three decided to fight together. Suddenly, Lotus unleashed his magic. He created black smoke that enveloped them. On Yuno's side, he used his new magic, which surprised Klaus, because he combined two types of magic. So, Yuno attacked him. On Asta's side, he was trying to counter Lotus's anti-magic, but the black smoke was too thick, so they couldn't escape. Suddenly, Luck came up with a plan. While Lotus was very confident, but he saw Luck attacking him, so he dodged. Unexpectedly, he was knocked outside by Asta. It turned out that all three had coordinated to escape from his black smoke. On Yuno's side, he was having difficulty because this opponent was too strong. Meanwhile, Lotus realized that Asta had no magic, but he was very strong, so he couldn't fight them anymore. Suddenly, Lotus ran away immediately. However, they chased after him right away, because they couldn't let him escape. When Luck was about to catch up with him, Lotus knocked him back and escaped, which disappointed them. But, Luck realized that they needed to go to the treasure room now, because he sensed that a very strong opponent was there. It turned out his name was Mars, and he was the secret weapon of the Diamond Kingdom. At this moment, Klaus realized that Yuno was exhausted, because Mars was too strong, and he had heard that the Diamond Kingdom had created artificial warriors, by implanting magical objects into their bodies, and they made the children fight each other, until the last one survived. Klaus realized that Mars was the last surviving child, but Klaus wouldn't accept being defeated by Mars, so he unleashed magic to attack him. Unexpectedly, Mars blocked his attack with a clone. Mars continued to control the giant sword to attack Yuno, but Yuno kept dodging and blocking his blows, which made him very exhausted. Meanwhile, all of Yuno's attacks were ineffective against Mars. Suddenly, Yuno remembered his fight with Asta. Even though Asta was continuously defeated by Yuno, he still never gave up, so Yuno continued to attack Mars. But but his attacks still couldn't penetrate Mars's armor. When Mars was about to finish off Yuno, fortunately, Asta arrived just in time to block his attack, causing Mars's sword to break, which surprised everyone. Klaus didn't understand how Asta could break his sword. Suddenly, he was attacked by Mars's clone. But luck appeared in time to save him. He didn't understand why the members of Black Bull were so strong. Meanwhile, Noel was protecting Mimosa. At this point, Mars continued to create many clones to confront Asta and Yuno. But Asta easily destroyed his clones, so he charged to attack Mars, causing him to be knocked away, which amazed everyone, because Asta was very strong. Meanwhile, Luck and Yuno were destroying Mars's clones. Klaus didn't know what Asta's magic was, so Noel explained to him. Asta's ability is anti-magic. But Klaus said Asta had this ability due to luck. Suddenly, Mars unleashed his magic, and he created a giant crystal golem to attack Asta, causing Asta to get injured. Now, Mars asked, "What are you?" Asta replied, "Even though I have no magic, I will become the Wizard King," which surprised Klaus. At this moment, Asta was determined to protect everyone, so he charged at Mars with very high speed, and he defeated Mars, which amazed everyone. At this point, Asta's group had won, so they tied up Mars. Suddenly, Noel scolded Asta because his clothes were torn, exposing Asta's body in front of her. Then, they decided to enter the treasure room together, but they didn't know how to open the door, so Asta directly cut through the door. Thanks to that, they entered the treasure room, which surprised them, because inside was filled with gold and jewels, making them very excited. Suddenly, Yuno discovered a magical scroll. When he started to read it, the grimoire of Yuno resonated with the scroll, so all the text on the scroll disappeared. Meanwhile, Nero led Asta to a strange symbol on the wall. He didn't know what it was. Suddenly, the room was attacked. It turned out that Mars had woken up and immediately captured everyone, which surprised Klaus, because he could escape from Klaus's bindings. But Klaus realized he had fire healing magic. However, everyone only possessed one of the 4 elemental magics: fire, wind, water, and earth. But Mars had 2 types of magic. Meanwhile, Mars kept remembering his friend. When Noel attempted to attack Mars, she was defeated by Mars, which made Asta furious, so he charged to attack Mars. But Mars counterattacked him, and he knocked Asta through the wall. At this point, Mimosa was trying to heal Noel. It turned out that Mimosa had possessed healing magic since childhood, so everyone praised her. Meanwhile, Noel couldn't control her magic, and she was always looked down upon by others. But Noel didn't give up, so Mimosa admired Noel's perseverance, while Mars kept saying, "The strong will survive," and he intended to attack Mimosa. At this point, Asta woke up. He saw that everyone was in danger, which made him worried. Suddenly, Nero pointed out another sword to Asta. While Mars was about to finish off Mimosa and Noel, suddenly, Asta appeared to block his attacks, and he attacked Mars. But Mars kept recovering and pushed Asta back. When Asta didn't know how to defeat Mars, however, Noel woke up and said, "Defeat him, Asta." Suddenly, Asta's sword began to glow, making Asta more confident. As Mars charged to defeat Asta, Asta swung a powerful blow at Mars, which surprised everyone, because Asta's sword had water magic. They realized the sword drew power from Noel, so Asta defeated Mars once again. Suddenly, Asta discovered he had been pierced by a shard of crystal, causing him to collapse. So, Mimosa rushed to heal Asta, making everyone worried about him. Meanwhile, Mars had been defeated, and he remembered his past. It turned out that Mars once had a close friend named Fana, because they were imprisoned for experimentation. So, she always wanted to explore the outside world. But their final test was to kill each other, and the weak would be eliminated. Quickly, Mars defeated everyone, but he had to face Fana, forcing Mars to kill his close friend. In the end, Mars was the victor, so they decided to combine Mars and Fana's grimoire, making Mars even stronger. Suddenly, Mars woke up again, which surprised everyone. As he was about to deal with Asta, Yuno released his magic, and he used a new spell. Suddenly, time was frozen. Yuno didn't know what was happening. He noticed a small girl next to him, and she blew wind to break Mars's magic, causing him to be defeated once more, which amazed everyone. They didn't know what Yuno had done. Yuno realized this was the magic from the scroll earlier. Meanwhile, the new sword also merged into Asta's grimoire. Suddenly, the dungeon began to collapse. So, Yuno created a wind boat to get everyone out. But Asta also wanted to save Mars, because he didn't want anyone to die. However, the dungeon was collapsing very quickly, so they had to leave promptly. At this moment, everyone cooperated, and they worked together to block the falling debris. Finally, they managed to escape outside. Unexpectedly, Lotus also managed to escape. It turned out that while Asta and Mars were fighting, they collected a lot of gold, and Lotus also rescued Mars. Meanwhile, Mars remembered his battle with Fana. It turned out that Fana sacrificed herself to let Mars win, which caused him great sorrow, and she asked him to explore the world for her. On Asta's side, he woke up, making everyone very happy. Suddenly, Asta thanked Mimosa, which made her shy, while Asta and Yuno continued to argue about who would become Wizard King first. Suddenly, Klaus hugged both of them and apologized for always looking down on them. At this moment, Klaus recognized that they were all skilled magic knights, which made everyone very happy. That's all for today's video. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to support Oni-chan in future videos. Thank you for watching, love you all.